Welcome to SunDogs Present Local Vibes, your favorite show.
Oh, wow.
We are SunDogs, Good Boys, Brothers Hound, the Fly Boys. The AKAs go on and on. We want to welcome you to the weekend. We've got another phenomenal show for you today.
Got OKnice.
OKnice is joining us in the doghouse.
Oh, hi. What's good, boys? How's it going?
Oh,
Chilling.
It's going very well. Thank you again for taking the time out, especially during these turbulent juices, to sit down with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I heard stuff's been going on, so
Exactly.
I made some time though. Yeah.
There's unrest in multiple socio-scientific economic fields.
Very true.
Instagram, SunDogs TC. Instagram for OKnice, OKnice Raps. Facebook page radio show, SunDogs Present Local Vibes.
You can email sundogstc@gmail.com to submit clean radio-edited music, interview suggestions, or event info, and we'll shout it out on the show.
Yeah, any events you've got performing coming up?
No performances announced just yet, but yeah, keep tuned into Instagram and Twitter, and there'll be some cool ones coming up soon though.
Very nice.
I really like to hear that again. That's OKnice Raps. Our last interview was with Monopole Joe in the doghouse.
Mm-hmm.
Our next interview was To Be Determined. Replays of SunDogs Present Local Vibes, exclusive content, and exclusive performances can be found one of three places: anchor.fm/local vibes, YouTube, SunDogs TC is the channel, and on Spotify, you can just type in SunDogs Present Local Vibes, boom, add it to your favorite podcasts. It's that easy.
That easy. We do our live shows Fridays from 6 to 7 p.m., and the replays are Mondays from 3 to 4 p.m. here on WFNU.
And the WFNU studio line, again, only from Fridays from 6 to 7. You can give us a call, 651-313-5125. You can ask OKnice a question. You can get advice for last-minute anniversary preparation, because we know you forgot.
Give a classic
We'll
shout
plan
out.
your trip to Ecuador, because that's one of the countries listed on the safe list. So give us a call, 651-313-5125.
Also want to say that we are doing replays on KRSM now,
98.9 FM, Saturdays at 7 p.m.
which is nice. Nice time to catch an interview or a playlist.
Keeping the weekend going.
It'll be interviews every week for a while. New interview each week over on KRSM.
Let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
The nitty-gritty, as they say.
I'm kind of nervous about anniversary. You got me thinking about anniversaries now.
Ooh.
And I'm like, you can call in with ideas for me.
651-313-5125. Again, 651-313-5125. If you're just joining us, we're sitting down with OKnice, and we like to start at the beginning. Again, we'd like to express our gratitude. It's an honor and a pleasure for sitting down with you. We're big fans. Fans first, journalists second.
As it should be, right? Put the journalism and facts second, fans first.
Exactly.
But for real, thank you guys for having me.
No problem.
Appreciate you taking the time.
You're a great performer to watch. That's where I first found your music, was at a live show. And so what we want to know is how you've gotten to this point. We want your origin story.
How music first influenced you greatly, whether it was your mom's favorite album or playing timpani in middle school band.
English teacher. And then also don't forget if you have aliases.
The first performer name.
We want to know them all the way up.
Oh man.
So flashback.
Take us away.
Oh man.
The year is
probably 1995. The first rap tape I ever got was Run DMC. And it was the tape that had You Talk Too Much on it, because I talked a lot as a kid, and my dad thought it'd be really fitting to give me that tape. Little did he know, he then would set me on the path to to do music for a career, which I'm sure he'd like shake his fist past him now. But yeah, no, that was like the first tape I got that connected with me. Both my parents were really big fans of music. Like my dad listened to it's a divided house. My dad listened to a lot of Michael Jackson. My mom was a fan of Prince, and Janis Joplin was another big one. So those were things like I remember liking early. I didn't really do anything. I was not like super talented, musically inclined. I did concert band in middle school and high school. I played trombone, did marching band. Was never too great at it, but like I was in this weird high school where that's like what girls did, was played in band. And so we like did things the opposite of everywhere else. Football players were nerds, and all the cool kids were in band. It was a weird deal. I don't know.
I mean, was this like Perpich, or where'd you go?
No, it was like a random little school in the middle of Oklahoma. I grew up in rural Oklahoma.
Okay.
That's the OK.
I'm just putting that together right now. Okay.
And then but what really kicked it off was my brother and older sister. They both were really into like modern popular music. My brother was a big Bone Thugs fan. The Art of War was like my first like rap CD I had in like my possession that had the explicit sticker on it. And that's what really set everything off was that Bone Thugs record, and them like feeding me stuff I shouldn't listen to that I loved and obsessed over. And then I think in middle school, a friend's older brother was a rapper, and we tried to freestyle with him, and that kind of like set everything off. I remember is him mocking me for rhyming something with sucky. Like to this day, that's branded in my memory for freestyle.
You can't say
freestyle
sucky
something
in a
rhyme
rap
with
song.
sucky, and he just roasted me forever. And that was my lesson. And then I mean I freestyled all through high school. That was kind of the deal. Was just a bunch of freestyle records. And battles and stuff like that.
As OKnice?
Not as OKnice. I was trying to
Okay.
remember what my original name was. I think it was something like, I think it was just some form of verbs, like the word verbs. And there were like 2 other rappers with the name verbs too. So but I was in high school in the middle of Oklahoma, so I didn't know that. And so it was something like that. And then, and when I got to college, I went by Insomnia. Which thankfully I think all of those CDs are gone and erased from history. I have one song with, this is like my claim to fame. I have one song with a dubstep producer that has over 1 million plays on Spotify from that period of my life. Terrible raps.
But it's on Spotify,
But it's on Spotify right now.
What's it called?
Well, we're not there in the history yet.
No. Yeah, you're right.
So freestyle battles, 2007, 2008.
Going as verbs.
Yeah, some weird random name, and didn't ever really take it serious. It was just kind of a thing I love doing, but not enough to actually like put effort in. And then the story arc is the guy who kind of taught me how to rap, the guy who made fun of me for rhyming with sucky, he passed unexpectedly, and that kind of just threw a lot of things off because that's who I was doing a lot of music with. He's who got me to like start recording and trying to do it seriously, and so I took a big step back. I moved here to St. Paul in 2009. Tried to like completely start my life over, no rap, no music, nothing. Jumped into the spoken word scene here, and sure enough, that like took me right back to the hip hop scene here. And in about 2017, my friend Hassani, who I did poetry with, basically gave me a big push to actually try and do this seriously, because he knew that I still really missed rapping and things like that. And then that's when I came up with OKnice, and really took a big jump into trying to make it be a real thing, right? And applying myself, which I've heard is good.
Yes.
We like that as consumers of your art. Please do. But that's cool. Yeah. So we didn't miss any aliases.
No, Insomnia was the big one. I had shirts made. That's how you know it's the big one.
Do you still have any of these?
I think the Goodwill in Roseville might have most of them. I think that's where those ended up.
That's who wouldn't wear that shirt, especially if you have insomnia. You're like, ready. Hey there, buddy.
And so the turning point of starting to apply yourself, being sucked back into the hip-hop scene here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, what were the open mics and stuff you're going to back in 2009?
Yeah.
Because that's before we were
For either
doing
spoken
stuff,
word
so
or for the resurgence of
it's a
hip-hop.
little history lesson.
So I didn't really know any open mics at the time. What it was there's a group called No Birds Sing out of Wisconsin that had ties. I assume ties to the spoken word scene, because they came here during a poetry slam and did like the set in the middle where there's like an intermission, and I was really hooked in, and then that just like led me to things like Guante, and then led me to things like Idea, Carnage the Executioner, and all those folks, because I didn't grow up knowing rhyme sayers at all. I grew up knowing like stuff in the South, and then Def Jux. So like Def Jux, as far as indie and underground stuff was my thing. Didn't know anything about rhyme sayers. So that whole world started to kind of open up a little bit to make me realize there was a scene here, and like it was different and it was cool, and like then that sprung me out into like the more, I guess, grassroots, more actual like folks on the ground doing things, and that and yeah, that's really what it spun out of, was that one set, and then rap battles, grind time rap battles, because they used to do grind time rap battles. I want to say at the Dinky Towner, and I'd go and watch, and there was Ryan Coppard, Illab, Carnage was judging one. But yeah, you had that kind of thing that plugged me in there too.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, all stuff that I've never been to any of that, because wasn't around, wasn't doing that. Yeah, so exactly. It's awesome to hear about, and thanks for dropping some names that people who remember that time might recognize, because that's sweet. I was just about to ask.
And when was the first, I'll say project, I'll be vague about it. When was the first project you released as OKnice?
Yeah, so I think I just took down the last few places that existed on the internet. It's called Vacation 96, and we put that out in 2017, 2018, and it was like a mix of beats I stole from the internet, beats I got from Hex, because I had just met Hex, and we were just starting to do stuff together, and then and I think that was it. And I think the one feature was my guy Hassani, and it was all a lot of talk about like applying myself, right? It was all like really rushed raps, stuff I wrote in a day, didn't want to edit, didn't want to, like, when we were recording it, did as few takes as possible, just because I didn't want to take the time with it.
Especially if you don't own the beats. It's like, definitely don't overthink it if you're not going to own everything.
Well, and I think, like, we knew to a degree, too, like, we were getting the, you're, like, shaking the rust off. Like, I hadn't really rapped in a long time, and so it was a lot of shaking the dust off. So, you're just trying to get your reps in. But that was the first thing that I think is now officially gone from the internet.
That's crazy, but yeah. That's crazy. What does Hassani rap under that? Or does...
So his name's Hassani Harris, and he puts out music. It's really raw stuff in every aspect of it. He's probably, as much as everyone likes to say this about their friends, he's like hands down one of the biggest influences on me, because he's really honest, but like extremely creative. So like everything, I don't know, he's just one of those people who I think if he sat down tomorrow and decided he wanted to learn how to conduct an orchestra, he would. Like, and he would have this grand vision for what that is. Whereas I sat down tomorrow and decided I want to learn guitar, I would maybe know some notes in a year, right? Like, and yeah, he's one of those dudes, and he's still putting stuff out. He started a family a few years ago, moved to Chicago, and he's still putting stuff out.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, we're sitting down with OKnice. We're getting the origin story, hopefully up to the present day before our break, Make sure you follow him at OKnice Raps and SunDogs at SunDogs TC.
Yeah, are there any like artist groups you're associated with? I saw something Easy Target something was throwing shows or
Yes.
you do stuff.
If you can
over-
legally talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Easy Target Booking, that's just who handles booking my shows as of last summer. Liz Brooks is just a phenomenal human who has done some booking for some other local artists. I think I'm her first like rapper, but we just really clicked and she's done a great job as far as like working with me on let me keep some control, like to book my own stuff, but also taking a huge stress off when,
Taking the reins
when things
for
are
that
busy.
aspect of it, I would assume.
That's huge. But no groups. I've always kind of been close to some, but never really in. Sometimes by choice, sometimes not. Just the fact that I have features now is kind of a stretch for where I was a few years ago. It
Yeah,
used to be
solid features.
pretty minimal operation for a long time, and I'm kind of learning I don't have to be. But yeah, no, nothing too official. Just some friends, and
that's cool. I was snooping around on your Instagram and noticing like the patterns of people who were liking your stuff, and it was like Sem Hyena, J So Creative, Love Ulysses.
Yeah. Love Ulysses is my guy. Yeah,
That's crazy. How'd you guys get together?
Taking a break in about a minute.
Oh, sorry.
So I think the quickest, I think I actually met him at a Fifth Element open mic around the same time I met y'all, and just loved his stuff. And since then, I bugged him enough that now he's my friend. And we do stuff
He was
together.
persistent. He was professionally persistent.
There you go. About to take a break. Follow us, SunDogs TC. Follow OKnice at OKnice Raps on Instagram. Sorry, I keep having to look at the clock. 651-313-5125.
651-313-5125. If you don't swear, we'll put you live on air. SunDogs present
Local Vibes.
Oh, welcome back to SunDogs Present Local Vibes. We are sitting down with OKnice.
I think you just made like a beat tag.
Yeah, exactly. We're add it to a little soundboard.
Intros all my songs now.
Exactly. OKnice. But we were approaching present day in kind of the timeline. Talking about the first handful of projects, if any.
Yeah. I think modern times. I always mark the real beginning as we did an EP the summer 2018 called Halfway. And that
when you
was
say
like,
we,
so I say we a lot, and I know a couple of my friends are gonna scold me because they say I gotta get better about saying I, but it's always a team effort, right? So
always.
that summer
You can't do it
was-
by yourself.
No, you can't. Unless you love Ulysses. He just
I
does
was
everything.
just about to say.
He does everything alone. So me, Hex, and then my guy Jay, who plays live with me, but he has a lot of input and he has a lot of ideas, and he's one of my closest friends. So he's a really strong critic in all the right ways.
And an honest critic, I hope.
He is. He's very honest. No yes men in my corner. I'm looking for some if anybody is in need of being a yes man. But we put out this EP. It was the first like real effort. It was 3 songs, but like strong effort to work on like songwriting, on like feeling like comfortable with my bars, right? Like enough to say like, no, I'm good at this, and showing it to people. And we did that. It got like decently well received. One of the tracks on it was produced by a Johnny Abstract out of St. Paul, who is extremely talented, and even back then was extremely talented. And that track kind of took off because it kind of had like a lo-fi vibe, real jazzy, and that was really, really popping at the time. And people kind of latched onto that, which was really dope because that was like the first step forward. From there, fall 2018, I put out my first full length, which was it's probably ill-advised, but also was a huge like learning curve. I learned a lot about like engineering, about like basically like the business side of it, like handling, basically exchanging money with other people who are not homies, and like figuring out how to build those relationships, how to market, and a lot of failures. But it was like, you know, it was really good. And the track Back to Good off of there is still like one of the most played tracks I have. So, you know, some good came out of it. But then from there, it was just basically focus on refining. So I did EPs with my guy Dear God, who's out of Michigan. He's part of Team Sesh. My guy Michael Jones out of Texas. We did the Winter Tape. And then me and Hex did Social Distance in 2020. So it's really just focusing on like, just put in your 10,000 hours, and then Social Distance, which was obviously like everything in 2020, not planned, did really well. Like it got people who had no reason to care about what I do to care about what I do, and that was really encouraging. And so then that set me on like the path to now 2020 and 2021 of like really refining, really making sure everything we do is top of the line, from the writing to the recording and the engineering. And so we made a lot of changes with all this new stuff that's about to come out, that is kind of a product of all of those projects, which is really cool to look at. It's one of my favorite things. I'm a big believer in like showing your process and growth. I hate people who try to like make it look like they've been polished from the jump.
Success.
And, you know, their first record is like this amazing record. And it's like, no, I want to see like your bad songs, right? Like I want to see where you came from. And so it's what I'm really, like, I really like that about if I sit down and look at the projects I've done as OKnice, to say like, all right, there's the growth.
But there was a line, because you did take something down.
There
You
was
said,
a line.
There's a line there, like maybe not that song
Here's the
anymore.
Internet Beats. Internet Beats with the line.
Oh, okay.
I think that was the line.
That's a good
for me.
line.
Well, when you learn about the business side, it's like, okay, well, I've been doing this wrong the whole time, you know, or I've been a thief this whole time. It's very interesting.
It's a weird line to walk. It's one of my favorite conversations. If any rappers out there ever want to sit down and talk about,
There's two sides to the coin. Some people are like, don't ever worry about it. Like, if you get sued, that's how you're gonna get famous. Like, yo, I'm getting sued by Kanye West.
oh, that's still where I'm at with samples. I think like that's you know.
Okay. Different sides of the coin. There's people who feel strongly about either side.
Yeah.
And I've heard good arguments for both sides.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
it's you need to just, it's whatever you want. You're an artist, like do whatever you want, and that'll just, But if you're a business person as well, then it's like there are certain things that you can't do.
There's a lot of things there's a whole other game there, and I think that's where a lot of people like to keep it at an arm's length and just like, all right, I'm gonna keep this thing as being my for fun thing, which is absolutely fair. I don't, shoot. There's a lot of days that I'm like, I want
some less limitations
Yeah.
if you're doing it as a hobby.
Absolutely.
And through that refining period, are you still working with some of those producers and engineers? Like, are there any tracks on Have You Tried Being Happy about to be released that we can expect a similar sound of?
Yeah. So I think the two returning are like big returning are Hex and Dear God. Me and Zepeda had done. He and Astral Trap, another homie from Seattle, did the beat for Scumbag, but that's still fairly recent. The big returning are Hex and Dear God, and it's really cool because I haven't done anything with Dear God since April 2019. And so he's just been, and since then he signed on with Team Sesh and Bones and like has put out all these records, and like he's really refined, which was cool for me to be like, oh, you're doing really cool. Let me take that beat. And it's kind of cool to circle back with him. Me and Hex have just kind of been on the growth trajectory together. He's one of my closest friends and knows my sound really well, and so he's kind of improved his beats as I've improved my rapping, and so.
And he came on specifically as a producer or as an engineer?
So he's on, for this will be the first project in a minute, he is just producing. So no engineering. We actually went to my friend Andrew Hill, who is part of a group called Tyranny and Sound, who does like, they're like electronic music. I'm not even gonna try to guess the subgenre because I'll butcher it. Yeah, they're based out of the Twin Cities. I can't even. They just played Red Rocks this last fall. Yeah, they're doing like he carved out some time for me, which I'm forever thankful for. But that's also why I really trusted him to handle the engineering. Was I knew he was a professional. I knew him. He recorded some back in the day insomnia raps that don't exist anywhere. So we had a little bit of a history. But we brought him on to do the recording and the engineering. He actually built a sound booth in his house for me to record these songs, and like he and his partner made this whole sound booth really amazing. And so it's gonna definitely sound different. So the sound of it is just better. But he just in his engineering made some choices that like I think only a person who works in electronic music is gonna listen to someone who raps like I rap and be like, ooh, we're gonna do this, Yep. And it's really cool. I'm really excited for people to see that, especially combined with Hex, who has a really like dusty boom bap sound, and you've got someone who works in a completely different world of noise saying, here, let's do this to these drums. And it just, little things that take it to a different level.
And that input has to be invaluable. It's like having a jazz producer produce a rap album, or having someone who's more adept to EDM.
Absolutely.
Or an ear outside of hip hop, because it's very easy to get trapped in a world of, yes, you compare it to other things within hip hop, whatever you define as hip hop, trap, hip pop, R&B, whatever. But I think that's an amazing opportunity that not a lot of, especially rappers, get.
Yeah.
To work with musicians and engineers and producers from other genres.
Well, I do think I think initially when I approached him, I do think he was wary. Because we're friends, and like so a lot of free flowing honesty, and I think at first he's like, is this something, again, he's doing music full time, so is this something he wants to take his time with? And so it really told me that we had something there in our rough demos for him to listen and decide, I want to dedicate my entire summer to working on this project.
It's huge. Crazy. Huge and crazy. Before the show, we were talking a little bit about Cadence Records.
Yeah, shout out Cadence.
And how more venues, should opt out of the whole alcohol action.
Maybe, yeah.
Or maybe
untapped market.
certain days.
Untapped market is all I'm saying. It's nice to go to a show and not get ran into by a drunk person.
Yeah, I'd like to wear good sneakers to a show sometime.
That'd be nice.
But
that's at your own risk.
Yeah,
if there's a bar.
Or like open-toed shoes, your feet will get wet.
Wet.
Wet. Give us a call, 651-313-5125. Tell us about your favorite venues here in the Twin Cities. We're sitting down with OKnice, who you can follow at OKnice Raps. Correct?
Correct.
And
on everything, everywhere.
Everything, everywhere.
Spotify, OKnice, one word. Big OK, small nice.
And SunDogs at SunDogs TC. That's everywhere. Oh.
Yeah.
Your representative sent 2 tracks, one which is off of the upcoming release, Have You Tried Being Happy?
Yeah.
Which drops March 1st of this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about a little bit about the 2 of the producers on the project. Tell us a little bit more about the upcoming release.
Yeah. So it's like a full project. It's 15 tracks.
You would consider it an album.
Yes.
A studio album.
Yep. Yeah. This is
on the Wikipedia page. It would say, "Have You Tried Being Happy?" Stylized. No, I'm just kidding. Is the second or third studio album by OKnice?
Probably. I guess if
we're not counting like the projects with the collaborative projects.
Yeah. So this is probably. I'd count it. I always hate it when rappers put out albums and then they have their debut album. So I guess this is my second full-length project. It's my first project that I've done to this level, where there was like a recording engineer and mixing and mastering engineer and all of those pieces. But technically my second full-length thing I've ever done. And it's we worked on it. I started writing it I started writing it in 2019, thinking it was going to be a lot sooner and probably a lot shorter. And then everything happened. And I started writing heavy on it last May because when I met up with Andrew to do the engineering, he said, I've got a tight schedule. Here's what you have to fit it in. Be on time. And so, so I just was grinding last May to make sure everything was written, make sure I had all my beats, had all my features lined up. By and large, had everybody in that would be in, and anybody who didn't, sign off, then they were out. And we kicked off recording June 1st, and we went up till about mid-August. Then it got mixed and mastered
At the guy's place.
Yeah.
With the homemade sound booth.
Yeah. We were in there a lot. It actually still feels like weird to not be over there. Like, I think I'm trying to find excuses to be in there. And then we just basically spent the whole I spent the whole winter doing things like getting merch ready, trying to figure out like write-ups, things like artist bios, all those big kid professional things.
Yeah, keep listening them if you don't mind. The rollout is a really cool part of any project, I think, and it's how long after you had the songs done, and it's still yet to come out. So that's 9 months worth of like planning for the rollout once you had the project, the audio for it.
Yeah, when I was doing the 9 months, it really is like having a kid. It's been all this prep. And yeah, the rollout's important, and that was the deal was with this, it was, I was going to swing as hard as I can. And that includes rollout. That includes promotion. Nothing could be half-hearted. It had to all be done the best that I could do it. And so that's how I spent the winter, just grinding on it, doing things like the music video we just dropped, for split screen, like making sure that I did this whole storyboard for that. So a lot of stuff that kind of drove me a little bit crazy, because it felt like I wasn't doing anything, because there's a lot of planning and plotting and things like that. And I think I rearranged that track list like 30 times. And messaged the homies like, does this work? And they finally, were like, you got to stop. You got to be done. And so, and then now we're here. I set the date in January. There's a couple things I was waiting to hear on. And so once I heard back, it's like, all right, we just got to do this. And so.
Sorry to pry again, but what specifically were you waiting on before you picked a date to release it?
Just, there was everything about like, there were some like merch things that I wanted to make sure could pan out, because nothing's worse. And this is like, if any artist is listening, don't tell the public a date until you have your stuff ready.
Yes. You should repeat that, please.
Don't tell the public a date until you have your stuff ready on anything. A single, an EP, no matter how low stakes it feels, there's nothing worse for you to feel, and like honestly, sometimes for other people to feel, than like that. Oh, hey, sorry. Because just one, because there's the biggest lesson from the last 2 years since COVID for me has been the timeline is whatever you want it to be. I really was under the impression that like I had to be pumping stuff out like all the time, because that's what a lot of other people are doing. And it's just not true. Like, it's just, as long as you're like in control and intentional, So yeah, and then everybody who's involved with it is like a friend and inspiration to some degree too. Like every feature on there, everybody who made a beat, nothing was like purely transactional, where it said you had something I want, here's money, give it to me, which was really important to me.
Who helped with the album visuals, album cover?
Listen.
You got to take a break in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Sure, we can talk cover art. Easy though. Alexis Politz, who's done a ton of my cover art and has become a really good friend, who did like some of the earliest OKnice cover art and then has done art since then, and like again been a part of my like journey and growth the last few years. And they're phenomenal. Like do some part-time work for Copycats, and then freelance and will do stuff for a lot of other really great artists. And yeah, Alexis Politz, I cannot stress enough how dope they are, and like how much I would not exist right now without them.
It's a exactly. It's a collaborative experience. I mean, I hate to defecate perhaps on anyone's artistic talent, but there's people that can make cooler looking stuff than you.
Well, that's true.
As cool as you think your album cover is, which I'm sure it is, someone else, locally perhaps, can imagine something that you would never even have thought of. Mm-hmm. So you can't do it by yourself.
Just reach out. Find out what people are good at.
Exactly.
Link up.
That's just the recurring theme I'm getting from talking with OKnice is teamwork, collaborative efforts, honest and open communication.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent. You know, I get if you got the resources at all to take some of that stuff off your plate. Like, there's somebody out there who that's their passion, so let them do it.
Call us up 651-313-5125. Ask a question or just get your voice on the radio.
If you don't swear, we'll put you on the air.
We gotta take a break. We'll be right back.
Here on SunDogs Present
Local Vibes, and we're back.
Welcome back to SunDogs Present Local Vibes. We are sitting down with the one, the only. OKnice. Well, I hope the only.
From what I can tell from Google, I Google myself a lot, so you know.
Spotify and Google are the what up?
So your phone like remembers what you search and like your location. So like if you're Googling yourself a lot, it might not be. You know, it's always cool to go to like a library and type it in real quick just to check. Just to see if it's the algorithm that's
why I keep my library card current, really.
You got to.
We were saying earlier your representative sent 2 tracks over, one of which is off of this upcoming release. Mm-hmm. The other one is, so both tracks, we have Scumbag and Split Screen, and we're going to take the remainder, I think about 10 minutes, talk about those 2 tracks a little bit more in depth about some of the content. Right now we have Split Screen playing first, but we can play Scumbag first if you want to do the old new, or would you rather do the debut old?
Let's do the debut old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, Split Screen, like in depth, like did you write lyrics first? Did you hear the beat first? How'd you meet the producer? If there's a feature, how'd you meet them? You know, the whole shebang.
Yeah, what did a film influence you? Split Screen?
This is honestly what I'm most excited about for new music, is to break it down. So Split Screen, so most of the project is around around a lot of stuff, the concept of happiness, etc. But like a big part is the last couple of years have been a really intense like mental health journey, part of which has been the conversation around being diagnosed bipolar and having a mood disorder. And so once I started like dig into that and really understand the parts of that, it helped me understand my brain better, which when I like was kind of breaking it down, sometimes felt like this idea of like how you play Split Screen, right? Like you're on the same level but kind of going through it different. And so that's where just the name came from. And the song's focus is on that idea of like what that mental health feels like, but just on like normal days, right? Like it's not a breakdown. It's not the worst point. It's just like the day to day. And so, when you get in the hook of like, I'm just trying to live, man. I don't want a lot. Like I'm just, this isn't some heavy conversation. I'm not trying to talk in depth about it. Like I'm just trying to make my rent and keep it moving. It's kind of my overall song of like, that song set the tone for the album. The beat's produced by my guy Zapeta, co-produced by Akamoto. Zapeta I met through Dear God. Zapeta's part of a group called the Super Six Club. He's out of Portland, and we've been working really closely together the last couple of years. We've got a lot more stuff on the way. And he sent me that beat, and the second that piano hit, it just felt right. And it was the first thing I'd been working on up to that point that felt right. And felt like, oh, this is the album. Like, this is what everything comes from. Like, this is the project. And it all sounds different than that, but like that set the tone. And so, we cover a lot of stuff too. Like, there's a lot of personal stuff, obviously. But then too, like I wrote it in 2020. So, the opening, the second verse is a life's disregarded, but they cry over Target. Right.
Yeah, we thought we had to bleep something there. We listened back like 5 times. And then we looked up the lyrics. Thanks for having them online. Yeah, exactly.
So that, it was just kind of this recap, right? It's not the intro track to the project, but once we get through the intro, it is kind of that like, and here's life in a nutshell. And then now we'll break it down over the next 13 songs.
Yeah, and you did a music video for it too. Did you? Because it was like it's the keystone of the project. Yeah. It sounds like. So
yeah. Which track is it?
Split Screen track 2. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Quick brag on myself. The opening 3 tracks, I believe, are like the greatest opening 3-track sequence of an album in a long time.
Nice. What are some of your favorite albums?
Oh,
Because you're a start to finish, you're a vinyl guy.
yeah.
You dig through crates and all that. I see. Just what's a good album
Or
on your
something you've listened to recently.
I mean, I've had the second Earl record or third Earl record. I don't like stuff, right? I don't go outside. That to me is a perfect front to back record because I could throw it on vinyl and it plays
You own
through
it
and
on
I listen to
vinyl.
everything.
That's impressive.
Like, and that's one where I think of like the first 3 tracks just go.
So he's taking the order seriously.
Yep.
He's taking the album
Yep.
seriously.
in a time of singles,
yeah.
I would think, especially in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin City.
But you can put just as much thought into a rollout for a single.
Yeah.
So, you can, there's no need to just be like, oh, this is just a single.
No such thing. Yeah.
Right.
Don't ever put just in front of anything.
No. Or Lil. Lil, this is my Lil radio show that I
Yep.
do with my brother. It's like, no, take that
Nope.
out.
No. So it sounds like, from what you were going through in your personal life, on your journey of self-discovery, that piano pulled you right in, kind of released it all onto the page.
Yeah. I'll always be a sucker for piano. Just always. You put a piano on a beat, like I'll probably take it.
It's like,
Perk up.
yeah, why do you think all these 90s house songs are using the 4-chord
It's true.
piano?
I was a big
Oh,
Jack's
man.
Mannequin fan. Like something corporate. Like give me that nice little piano line, no matter how simple it is, I'm in. It's my favorite thing.
Do you play piano? Have you
Oh, no.
dinked around at all?
Or do you still mess around with the trombone, you said?
No, I like tried to play on one a couple years ago. It is not like riding a bike. It is, but no, I always wanted to play piano, but I'm not really coordinated in any way.
What are your thoughts on playing the piano live on stage, but only learning it for the one song? The performance aspect of like, oh man, this guy must be sitting alone in his house with the piano,
It
writing
sounds like the
every
kind
song.
of project that would justify me like procrastinating from work or like writing new songs. Like I gotta learn the piano for this live joint. Oh, like for the whole set? Nah, just the.
It's cool, yeah, that you have the focus to just be like, this is what I have the most fun at or am the best at, and this is the lane, and you've seemed to have surrounded yourself by a lot of good people to fill in the gaps and make some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I've been really, really fortunate with the folks that honestly have chosen to be around me, and I'm one who really believes it. Of like, if you ever feel like our time is done, there's no hard feelings. So I'm really thankful that everyone who's stuck around has stuck around, and we've been able to kind of like I say, I've said this a few times, right, of like grow together. Because I just don't think it would have been like it is if Hex would have bailed early, or if Jay would have bailed early, or Alexis. So I'm really, really thankful for those folks.
Very cool. And then, yeah, we should talk about this other track
Yeah, we got
as well.
Scumbag as well, which is a track from 2021.
Yeah,
correct?
that was the only new track I put out last year. And it's about almost a year old this February. And it's the first track I did with my guy Def C out of Chicago. And he's on the new record as well.
As a producer or as a feature?
As a feature.
Ooh, okay.
So he, like, I can easily make the argument right now. He's one of the most talented rappers doing it right now. Top 3 at least.
So he's played the 930 Club is what you're telling me.
He's wildly talented. Like, he's one of those dudes who gets on a record and you're like, all right, Def's about to out-rap me, so I'm just going to do the best that I can. Yeah. And you don't care. Like, you love it because he's going to rap so good. And so this was the first joint we did together. He'd seen me battle in Chicago a few years ago and reached out, and we just talked a little bit and then ended up with this track, just absolutely killed it.
Who produces this?
This is Zapeta and then a guy named Astral Trap out of Seattle, and they're both part of the Super 6 Club. Which I don't know if that's just Northwest, but I know the two of them are out of the Northwest.
Because this smacks.
Yeah, this is really grimy. This was another one that like opened up a lane of sound that I was like, we got to do more with this on the record too. It's not like the new sound, but it definitely showed me something we can do that like works and slaps without kind of going, I'm not like trying to force party tracks. Like no one's trying to listen to me lie about partying.
I mean, you said that Split Screen kind of set the tone for the album. Are there any outliers that you've woven into the order of the album? Not outliers, but party tracks or
yeah, there's
more
two,
a strictly instrumental song,
There's two tracks. I think they're back to back toward the middle. There's one called Voicemail that features Gabe Reasoner he's from a band called Careful Gaze, and they play a lot of heavy rock and stuff like that. And that track, just everything about it's really different in how it sounds. It's another Zapata produced one. It's got these really crunchy drums on them, and Gabe comes in singing on it, and it just has a different feel than anything I've done before, but it sits in the right place of like the arc of the album, which is really important to me, and that's the one my granny features on as well. So look out for that one. And there's a track called Pleasantville, which is one of my absolute favorite tracks on the whole project. Definitely sounds different than everything else, and it's like right at the midpoint. And there's a voiceover from a guy who's done like voices for video games and stuff, and he did a really amazing job. And it's like to me, it's like the perfect middle point for the project. The thing he does on it. And
so it would be side 1 of disc 2.
Yes.
Side C.
Yes. Yeah. It's a really cool moment, and I hope people enjoy it. I love it.
Well, we're gonna listen to Split Screen first, and then Scumbag. I wanted to ask real quick before we go, do you take into consideration, what is it, like 44 or 54? How long a one-sided or a one-disc album is? Do you take that duration into consideration when writing your albums?
I don't.
Or is it they'll just space it to make it fit if it's too short?
Yeah, we'll figure out how. Yeah, right now it's in that spacing phase.
Which order do we want to do it in?
Scumbag, and then
let's do Split Screen first. Let's start with that new, and then.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you again for sitting down with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
This has been SunDogs and OKnice here on SunDogs Present Local Vibes.
Tryna live, y'all, I don't want a lot. Tryna make my days more than running out the clock. They ask me how I am, and I tell them I'm fine. And then they're gonna try to tell me it gets better with time. Maybe so, I don't know, man. Maybe so, I don't know. Maybe so, I don't know, man. Yeah, maybe so. A penny for your thoughts and even less for your labor. Tell me how's a simple sinner get the complex of a savior? I've been crate digging, trying to fill my chest crater. Now the paper changing hands, Dunder Mifflin turning saber. If I say I'm grinding, know that I just mean my teeth. Cause these nights in my anxiety ain't trying to let me sleep. My doors locked, my shoes off, that's when I feel at peace. And now I'd rather waste my days staying wrapped up in my sheets. World's been on fire, but then so is my brain. I'm just hoping that it stopped when my soul leave my frame. I've been trying to reach these people so they know the refrain. And you ain't never make the cut if you still go with the grain. Been a desk jockey zombie, someone stop me with a headshot. Make a little money just to lose it on the next drop. Brain's been a bully, it's got me in a headlock. Scared of reception, I've been living in a dead spot. I'm just trying to live, y'all, I don't want a lot. Trying to make my days more than running out the clock. They ask me how I am, and I tell them I'm fine. And then they gonna try to tell me it gets better with time. Maybe so, I don't know, man. Maybe so, I don't know. Maybe so, I don't know, man. Yeah, maybe so. Make money, take time. Gonna get yours, and I gotta get mine. Make money, take time. Gonna get yours, and I gotta get mine. Life disregarded, but they crawl over target. And now a National Guardsman gets to act like he's sergeant. What a bargain, what a deal. Everybody loves a sale. Life been like my drinks, cause they both is off the rail. I had to get my mind right, I'm sorry if you miss me. Doom name painted on a bus stop. Neighborhood Sistine, thoughts been rushing like a blitzkrieg. Bipolar thinking got my brain playing split screen. Cinderella dipped herself in citronella. Ditched her fella for something a little better. Don't ask about the weather, whether or not I've been standing in this downpour. Trying to get out more, jabberjaw till my voice is raw and my mouth sore. This is not a threat, it's me trying to say I can't keep living with regrets. Liver's been in check cause of liquor I ingest. Go ahead and pull the trigger, now we playing some roulette. I'm just tryna live, y'all, I don't want a lot. Tryna make my days more than running out the clock. They ask me how I am, and I tell them I'm fine. And then they gonna try to tell me it gets better with time. Maybe so, I don't know, man. Maybe so, I don't know. Maybe so, I don't know, man. Yeah, maybe so.
Make money, make money, make money, make money, take time. Take time.
Norman has bet his pinky that he can light his cigarette lighter 10 times in a row.
Why you always such a scumbag? Why you gotta come around and act like that? Yeah. Why you always such a scumbag? Why you gotta come around and act like that? Why the smallest minds, they always got the biggest mouths? And why the ones who say they stand with you, the first ones sitting down? Like when you start to grow, they be quick to come around. But then when you feeling low, they gon' dip without a sound. Watch a lot of friends turn to ghosts in different ways. And the ones that still haunt me ain't the ones that's in the grave. It's the ones who turn their back for the sake of getting paid. Now they turning up their nose, though we made the same mistakes. I want some fans in the seats, I want their hands to the roof. Love how I damage these beats, my only plan is the truth. I want my family to eat before I land me a coupe. I trust a man on the street before a man in a suit. There's something sacred, I ain't make it just for placements. These days I play my role, I sip my drink and I don't say. Try to match my paces, I'ma run you out your Asics. Fake it till you make it, tryna skate your way to famous. Sign the dotted line and so your soul is up for grabs. They ain't holding nothing back and you just hope the money lasts. What do I know? I'm still broken, working class. Just stay focused on my craft, hope they notice when I pass. Why you always such a scumbag? Why you gotta come around and act like that? Why you always such a scumbag? Why you gotta come around and act like that?
An epiphany like the end of a knife. I've almost died with people I don't wanna see again for the rest of my life. Benefit of the doubt's too expensive. They out of pocket, cost some friendships. Pre-existing conditions of their wreckage doesn't merit protection. Only those with nothing to believe in blame the rest of the congregation for blocking their blessings. It's no science in they method, stringing together whatever theories they can, playing detective. Bulletin board with my face in the target, pockmarked with all the places the dart hit, sharpened points, aging and warping. Starving for attention, here's their last play. They kept it real as a cracked tape, trying to plant a flag in the fan base. I wish them healing in distance, time traveling, seen us as kindred, trading 16s in the kitchen. But some are not the people I've been with, claim they don't change but become estranged from the scene once it's shifted. My worst crime was loving you through it, guess I'm naive, expecting them to say nothing except what they mean. Was the time we dropped tears and catch them with sleeves. Now that person's a casualty of war and all that's left is fatigue, feel me?
Why you always such a scumbag? Why you gotta come around and act like that? Yeah. Why you always such a scumbag? Why you gotta come around and act like that?